Alright, cool. Looks like we're live. Shit. Ugh. Oh.
Birthday breakfast.
Eh. Let's see what's on Seeking Alpha, actually. Why we like Apple better? Yeah. The art of analysis in ETF trading and liquidity. T row price. Interesting. Comcast? I would not invest in Comcast because fuck Comcast. Just kidding. But I don't know. I just don't like telecommunications company that much. Invest like a Sith. God. Okay. Someone is saying Robinhood is good for long haul. Okay, let's see who the hell this guy is. Who are you? And with combined experience of covering technology companies on Wall Street and working in Silicon Valley and serving as an outside round to several seed round startups. His articles are syndicated to company pages in popular trading apps like Robinhood. No wonder he's hyping this shit up. Alright. Let's see what this man has to say. We have to remember the long-term bullish drivers for Robinhood. Robinhood is dominating the demographic that will soon take over the bulk of the worldwide wealth. That's just a projection, dude. I mean, even if you're trading on Robinhood, there's nothing to say that, hey, you know what, tomorrow I'm taking all my fucking money out and just put it into Charles Schwab. Traditional brokerages are catching up with Robinhood's popularity. I mean, they did change the game, but they're not. This is implying that Robinhood will continue to innovate and no one will catch up to Robinhood. So, okay. They popularize many new features like crypto trading, gross, cash advances. This is just margin. Easy. Cash. Oh, God. No. This implies that these products are good and should be marketed to people on a mass basis. Robinhood is roughly about even. Okay, sure. At a much larger scale, company will drive profit expansion. Wait. Okay, so this would imply this is this kind of circular. Right? It's just kind of saying the same thing here. Hey Justin, what's up? Yeah, this just literally repeating. Oh yeah, it will overtake the bulk of worldwide wealth. But then why? My question is why? Aggressive product roadmap. Okay. Again, this implies that the products are good and would be valuable to users. Roll out more offerings that make investing routine, give people more ways to build wealth in the future, and bring them goes to a company that they invest in. Wait, hold up. Let me move the fucking. Teams already work at tax advantage accounts. I don't know. This is like suggesting that you long-term investing. No one's saying to invest in ETF or S&P. They're really trying to get you to actively invest, which is not great. I don't think for most people. introduce a new experience for day-to-day spending that helps customers build portfolio as an outcome of spending. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, I guess it means like something what Acorns is doing, where they just pull a little, like, you know, few cents every single time you spend something. Want to make it easier for customers to deposit and withdraw funds, instant debit card. Okay, sure. I think that's fine. It's basically turning them into a bank, but they already have that with the Robinhood debit card, I think. Serving customers across the globe in a big opportunity, and crypto is an area of interest. Okay, I mean, aside from the fact that I fucking hate crypto, yeah, no. I mean, it's like lukewarm to cold on the quote-unquote ambitious plans. I don't see the value statement in them. So you plan to roll out traditional... Okay, sure. But then the question is, how do you profit off of these? The transactions inside the IRA? These are supposed to be long-term tax advantaged accounts, and it implies that people... people are going to defer taxes on their profits in those accounts. But the problem is that you assume that people are going to be profitable. So it's kind of bad. I don't know. IRA will carry the advantage of long-term accounts that users will typically hold on to. Yes, that's true. They'll hopefully reduce churn on the platform, but then it's just like Robinhood won't get their money because there is no selling the order fill, whatever shit. So I don't know. It's like doing things that are directly against the business model. It's kind of weird. To introduce securities lending, no. Compete against interactive brokers. Automatic customer account transfer service. Okay, I mean, I like this, but this is something that hurts Robinhood itself. It doesn't make the user sticky at all. It allows them to leave. Oh God, no. This is a short-term trend, but yet the only way you say that this is gonna work is if it's a long-term play. So it means that in order to accept this article as true, you have to accept that crypto is here to stay, which is, no. I don't fucking know. Fund accounts are readily stabilized. Okay, so let's see. Begin amount newly funded accounts. Churned accounts. Ending balance. Okay. The thing is that you say that revenue and churn have stabilized, but this does not look. I mean, this is just a 1 year of data. I don't know. I don't see this as anything meaningful or useful. After all, you resurrect. I guess this is just like kind of saying, oh yeah, these are like our memberships, and our memberships are growing. But if you look over the last year or last half quarter or Q2, Q3, Q4, it's just basically remained the same. And then you incorporate Q1 and from 2020 to 2021, it just means that, oh yeah, these numbers have shot up just because of COVID or the pre-COVID or whatever. Fuck. So I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced. You can't just draw a line through 2 or 3 quarters and then call that, oh yeah, there's a long-term arrangement and deal. I'm not convinced at all. We can see equities trading has stabilized. Okay, yes. Options, this is how much money they made on options, equities. I don't Yeah, so basically they make a lot more money on options and cryptos. I don't know, dude. Do you expect it not to come back overnight? But you're showing me short-term trends. I don't fucking know, man. I'm not buying this at all. This seems like... Wait. What's that meme? The fucking bullshit meme? God, I don't know. Literally, he's not telling what the value of this company is. It's just saying that, hey, there is upside based on the past 2 or 3 quarters, and therefore, next quarter, it could come back. Anything could happen, bro. I don't know. I don't like this analysis at all. It's kind of garbage. God, none of these look anywhere remotely appetizing to read. I'm sorry. I should really just get my ass off of Seeking Alpha, to be fair. Anyway, is there anyone who has any questions or anything? I mean, I did put out a blog the other day, so I mean, if anyone wants me to chat about that or I have any questions, um, I mean, feel free to ask. All right. Ooh, bless me. Well, let's see what else we got. Snapchat AR innovator with huge Gen Z growth. I don't know, dude. Everyone who writes Snapchat like this as a tech company misses the point. They're advertisements. I don't know, man. How long does it take for me to write a blog post once I decide on the topic? Probably about 2-3 weeks, I would say. I know like someone like Howard Marks can write it in like a week, but like it takes me 2 or 3. I mean, I'm kind of curious. I get a lot. I have a lot more fun writing the blogs than I do videos, because essentially the videos are just a summary, quote unquote, of a blog that I would normally write. Because like if you look at the videos, they're just like I think around 1,000 to 1,500 words, and my blog posts tend to be like 3-4 times as long, and I can be a lot more detailed. And I really think it's the details that really matter. I think you can look at someone like Engineering with Itsav. The way he makes his videos is really good, but I think he also covers a lot of the, I would say the surface level material that enough that is entertaining, but it doesn't really get into the details as much as I'd like. I think it's just really a lot of generic advice, but then again, the video has to be set up that way, so I think he's done it masterfully. I just don't want to do it like that, just because if I omit the details and the things I talk about, it just kind of ends up feeling way too watered down for me. And I don't want to feel beholden to like having to water down details and information just to meet an algorithm or subscriber count. So it's not really something I really care about. So let's bring on my client. Yo, hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Doing good. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing good myself. Catch me up on like your practice and stuff. Were you able to work on dynamic programming?
Guys, I work in 2 more questions, like the one I like you asked me on Tuesday, and one more that was to compare between two strings the minimum number of deletions and additions to make up the other string. And yeah, from dynamic programming was this.
Cool. All right. So you did like 1 or 2 string problems, and then you did the dynamic programming one. I'm reading your notes here. You say that you worked on 2 extra dynamic programming questions, and you don't feel 100% of it.
Still not.
Okay. I guess let's kind of walk through that actually.
Yeah, there are a few reasons I put it there because like the way to partitioning things was not so clear in my mind. The way that Grokken EPI did.
Sure.
And yeah, a few things of like, I mean, like to do the decision tree, I'm totally fine. But to like count, to count based on other decisions. I still don't feel 100%.
What do you mean not based on other? I don't get it.
For example, like those questions, like the exact question we work on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You need to count the cuts, the minimum number of cuts.
Yes.
The thing, specifically the thing I'm messing up is this thing of counting the current action plus the two decisions, like the two other decisions we might take. So, and there's a lot of dynamic programming questions that follow this pattern.
Yep.
So I better be able to solve them.
All right. So you're saying you do it in this problem with palindromic partitioning as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is this the one that? Okay. This is. Oh, yeah. This is the same one we did before.
Yeah. So I did by myself.
Okay. Were you able to get the answer?
Yes, but not as optimal as the way that API did, and the way I'm partitioning things is different.
Okay. So let's see the way you did it. Because I showed you the hint where it's like, oh yeah, I just have to each tree you have to cut or don't cut.
Yeah, I did it. Like if you look the general idea of my answer is basically the same as API. Okay. But like the thing, I'm being honest here, the thing I messed it up is in the terms of counting the cuts, Like I was not so sure in my answer. I did the same thing as you told me to do, like to run my answer, to see if it passes on all the test cases.
Okay. And did it pass?
No, because of like this, the way I sum the number of cuts.
Okay, so you were able, but were you at the end? Did you fix it and then would it work at the end, or still no?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
because I base myself on the answer.
Okay, let's see. The right solution for this question would follow almost the exact same considering chunk.
It's on. Yeah, that is the right answer. I think I put it there.
Mistake was that I set the infinity, which makes no sense since we can have at max the length of the string. Okay, yes. The maximum amount that you can have is the string, but it wouldn't matter because at the end of the day you would only get like. Okay. Let's see. The second thing was the way to cut using the split, since I could have just used the index to make the comparison.
The indexes I meant.
I don't quite understand what that means. Let's see here. So this is your old answer, right? And then yeah. So you just split it up at the index, okay?
Yeah.
And then
that's not so good.
Okay. Okay, I see. So for you for the remaining chunk. Okay. Yeah, so you split it, so you basically go into the function, you check if the remaining palindrome, if it's a palindrome, then remain 0. Float infinity. Okay, this kind of.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That was like comparing to their answer,
Yeah. So okay. So if you're out of bounds and you return infinite, it really shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. If it is a palindrome on the remaining chunk.
That is right.
Okay,
compared to their answer. The right answer is below. It's just below, like this little blurb I wrote.
Okay, I see. Okay, this is their answer, right?
Yeah, this is their answer.
Okay, let me see. Let me start by understanding what they're doing, and then let's compare it to yours. Okay, so start is great, and then the end index, which means they're out of bounds, or is palindrome. Then there is no number of cuts that could be done to return back. No need to cut the string if it's already a palindrome. Yep. Okay, that's fine. At the max, we have n length minus 1. Okay, so minimum number of cuts. So they just initialize it to be the difference of the start end index, but in your case, it's just the length of the string because you pass around the chunks. Okay, so then you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that it's
that would be
between.
my
Okay,
that would fit into my answer.
so okay, so then you say for between I in the range of start index and end index plus one. If the palindrome of the string is between of this chunk A, if it's a palindrome,
Hmm.
then the minimum number of cuts will be minimum number of cuts, the current minimum number of cuts, or the one plus find the minimum number
Yeah,
of cuts inside that chunk. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the intuition there. That makes sense. Because either you're going to have to cut every single string in there, or you
Hmm.
cut one time at that place,
Yes.
and then you find it recursively on the right hand side, because you're only comparing the left hand chunk, right? So then
Hmm.
this right here is your left hand chunk. This right here is the right hand chunk. Okay, then let's see what you do here.
Yeah.
Left hand chunk, right hand chunk, fine. If palindrome 0, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's like the only portion in the divided chunks.
If it's palindrome, number of cuts plus 1. Okay, so you're backtracking. Okay, that's fine. And so now you need to convert to a dynamic programming problem.
What you said, please?
Right
Can
now
you
you
repeat?
need to convert to dynamic programming because how many what's it called okay,
Mm.
so then yeah, so you got it. Okay, I see.
No, but this answer is incorrect. So
Yeah.
like I cannot convert because it's not giving me like the right answer the way it should. So that's why I'm saying that that was not good.
I see. Okay, but
Yeah.
next, even if you went with this, can I
Mhm.
see if I salvage this? In theory, I could because like we said, there's always this should be recursive to chunk B, I think. If you have
Uh,
palindrome chunk A, then you need to recurse into chunk B. That's why it's
remaining
wrong.
chunk. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Chunk
That's
B.
why it's wrong.
This, this should be chunk B,
Yeah.
and like instead of infinity, right? Instead of cuts initialized by infinity, I should put like the length as you mentioned, right, of the remaining chunk.
The other one is like I said before, like I mentioned before, is that you need to add plus one here. Because hey, you're assuming what if I tried cutting here and number of cuts doesn't even need to be needed. Does that make sense?
Let's try. Oh, you're initializing on the function
You don't
call.
need this. I don't think. Oh wait, no, you do. You're carrying it around. Never mind. Yeah, you're carrying around. Wait, no,
Yeah,
you don't need it.
I was trying to. I was
Oh,
trying
because you
to.
were carrying
Yeah,
it.
it's the same thing actually.
Yeah, because you actually don't need it, so you can eliminate that. And it actually gets pretty close to what they did.
Yeah, it was close, but it was not like.
It needs to be
Uh,
exact though. That's the thing. So,
yeah,
um,
that's the thing.
okay. My question then is, I assume that you just weren't able to really figure out the delta between your answer and their answer, but that's pretty much all I did here.
No, I figure out like those 2 points I put on the notes, like
Okay.
the length, But the thing you add now is the part of the chunk. I didn't saw this.
Okay.
And but I figure out that the way they are splitting is different. Mine was much more inefficient, and the other thing I figure out was the infinity, like initialized. But you pointed out like this thing of passing the adding number, like cuts try plus one. I didn't saw this, and the chunk B was the 2 points I was not seeing,
I see. Okay.
like the delta. I meant. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Hello,
then,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yo
Hello.
yo. Hello. Uh, there's sound going in. 1, 2, 3. I cannot hear you. Can you repeat, please?
Okay.
Yeah, I
Shit.
can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Sorry. Looks like my mic disconnected for a sec. Um. Okay. So. Let's see. So you have chunk A, chunk B. All I did was really take the delta between what they did here and what they end up here, and then try to get an intuition for why this answer works, and then just compare it. That's all I did. I think, and I feel like I only got halfway there. Um, yeah. But now your answer should
Yeah.
work.
Sure.
I believe. The only thing is I give start index.
Yeah, this if needs to change as well. Like it needs to be an end here, and if I go out of bounds, then I should return 0 as well. That's my
Yeah,
intuition.
but yeah, this actually shouldn't be infinite. I think this should also be 0 as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're out of bounds, then no amount of cuts will ever get you to the answer. So this should.
Yeah. So.
So this is just basically the same as this. Okay. Either way. It seems like dynamic programming is still very difficult for you.
Still, for
Yeah, let's.
those details,
Yeah.
they're killing me.
They're killing you, but they're also like I feel like you can get over them, just simply by trying to get like a more intuition behind it. So, let's go back to the divide here, right? So, it's like at every single string you get, you have a choice, right, to cut or not cut, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And so all this is just recursions. Let me write that down here, and let me just show you how I probably would have done the problem. I'm a little rusty, but so bear with me. So let's say I have a string, right? I have a choice of either to cut, or not cut, for my recursive case. And then when if I go into it, then I also have like my base cases to handle, right? So what are the what's it called? The cases that I know for sure I absolutely need to handle. One is going to be like, okay, well, what if one part of my string is, single, right? So if len of str is 1, then return 1. The other one would be out of bounds, return 0. And then if I know that a chunk is a palindrome, return a 0 because I don't need to cut it. So those are my 3 base cases, right? So then my recursive case ends up being, okay, well, either cut or not cut. So then if I want to cut this, then the left side or right side has to be a palindrome in order for me to make a good sense of it. So if that's the case, then if is a palindrome right-hand side, then what I'm going to do is just take the left-hand side and recurse. Right?
Yeah.
Left-hand side and recurse. And then add +1 to represent the number of cuts, and then this will give me back the cuts from left-hand side, and then after that, it's like, okay, well, now I have the cuts from left-hand side. I need to compare it to what's called the min of either the cuts from left-hand side or just chop it up in general. I think, yeah, chop it up in general, which is just the length of the string. Or yeah, length of the string.
I see.
And the other part would just be the what's it called? If I choose not to cut it, right? If it's not a palindrome, then this would just be return cut chop it up in general. I think. No. Oh yeah, then I just simplify this by saying equals to chop it up in general, which is length of the string. And then here would be, so this is cuts, and then return cuts. I think that's basically the intuition of what I would do, if that makes sense. Like, you see,
That
kind of
makes
like how
sense.
I brought it. I don't know if I just kind of repeated myself, or if I actually helped you understand how I would go through the problem, but that's basically how I would do it.
Basically, like what I perceive from your approach is that you were able very clear to add this +1, to your recursive. So, like this intuition of if it's a palindrome is pretty clear, but this thing of adding one possibility, was not clear. Where should I do this? I don't know why. I think
again, I think it's because you think too much in technical terms. I want you to simplify it and think in terms of decisions. So let's say I have a decision to cut or not cut at the string, right?
Yeah.
So if I choose to,
Yep.
let's say, cut at the string, then that means that the only way this really works is if I have a palindrome on one of the sides, right? Because that would make that
Yeah.
one cut, that plus one valid.
Mhm.
Because then it's like, oh yeah, as a palindrome, I don't need to cut anything on the left hand side anymore.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
correct.
that's what that plus one represents here. It's like, okay, now that I know I can cut this in half and not care about the left, care about one side, I can just go into the other side.
Okay.
So if I, let's say I'm at the point of A B C B A, and then I'm like, let's say I'm at this one, right, and then D F G H A. Well, I know that if I insert this cut here at this index, this left hand side it's a palindrome. I don't have to go into here. I can save myself a shit ton of time.
And do a cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
So eventually that's my caching, in a way. And then I have the right hand side as well here, right? So this is like, okay, well, I can swap this around and do left hand side, right hand side. It doesn't really matter, because all I'm doing is just checking the palindrome. All I'm checking is for palindrome. That's it. If let's say for instance, neither of them came back as like palindromes, right? Then I know, okay, well, if I make this cut here, then I have to at least either recurse into left hand side and right hand side in order to figure out the number of cuts, which I can do, but yeah.
I get the idea.
Yeah, that's roughly the idea. So like notice like all I thought about was, okay, well, what if it is a palindrome and what if it isn't a palindrome? If it is a palindrome, then if it's palindrome on the left hand side, then I can omit that. I can prune it, right? If I don't, then I have to accept that, well, this cut really doesn't benefit me.
Yeah. I see. That's more clear for me to understand now. Yeah.
Okay. Just for clarity, and for me to wrap my head around your timeline, I know you said Microsoft was supposed to contact you at the end of the month or something, and then Amazon you can reply to them on the 20th.
Yes.
Did you hear back
That's
from
pretty
any
much it.
other company?
Um, no, not yet. Like we are on the 16th, right?
Yeah.
I interviewed at Microsoft on the 30th of last month.
Okay.
So the recruiter said to me 4 weeks in max.
4 weeks max. Okay.
So yeah, I was getting aware of this as well. Like no
Yeah,
answers.
we're like 3 months in, and we haven't really got. And the only interview we've done is like Facebook,
Yeah.
and that was like way too early. So
Yeah, I was thinking the same, man.
yeah, so I'm like, wait, it is like seeming a little bit long, but whatever.
Yeah. Do you recommend me? I was thinking. Do you recommend me to email the Microsoft recruiter or not?
Yeah, email them. Like, just make because you're coming up on 2 weeks. Just make sure that they didn't lose track of you.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, going back to this. All right. So you understand the step by step now. That should be the way you need to understand dynamic programming. Like I said, it's all about making a choice and then memoizing that choice. I think you can do that in the minimum number of deletions problem.
Yeah, the minimum number of deletions. It's like the first thing I think was to. I think about first compare the strings that are the same. You know,
Okay.
like the substrings that are the same.
Okay.
Then think about, like at first I thought that was the wrong approach because like doesn't my intuition was not going too much into dynamic programming. But in order to get the substring, I need to do a dynamic programming algorithm. And yeah, after get this substring, I should like count the things I deleted and the things I have to add. You know, so basically that was my intuition, which was right. Yeah, but I messed it up like on and the implementation. I still don't, as I mentioned.
Okay.
I was not 100%. Yeah, and then programming. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, your intuition, like the first step's right, is that you basically need to iterate through both strings, by their indexes, and then just say, hey, I can either do a delete or an insert here. Wait, is it minimum number of deletions and insertions? Yeah, you're not doing changes yet. So basically, at this index, if I want to transform A, B to F, then I need to do either some number of like 2 deletions, 1 insertion, or something like that, right? And then I
yeah.
can, but then if I add B on top of it, then it's just the combination of either doing all that, which is 2 deletions, 2 insertions, or I can reuse the state from when I was comparing F and AB, and then build on top of that. So, or because if the elements, or no, I should say A and F because the B's are the same, right? So that means that I don't need to do anything on that. So all I need to do is reuse the state for A and F. That's the shorthand intuition here. I can either reuse that state or I can bring in a completely new state by doing some combination of deletions and shit. Anyway, let's see how you handle this. Okay, that's fine.
Just one point here, because I thought my intuition was not right.
Okay.
Because, like, I think, imagine, go please on the example 1.
Yes.
If for example, I have S1 as ABC, then imagine that was like D, E, F, right? But for S2, I have ABC, then like, let's say J, E, F,
Okay.
So I have 2 portions, like BC and EF, that are the same size,
Sure.
So how I would like choose between like which side I would like delete or insert,
Okay.
I was just a little bit aware of this because maybe if I go to one side, maybe I can lose things. I was not so clear this thing to me.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
But
so
I went.
So let's actually do a walkthrough of that and let's see what that might look like. So you have S and then you have A and F, right? So this is your base case. You just say, okay, what's the number of deletions that I need to transform A and F, right? Let's say just I'll take the string, right? I would do this as a bottom-up approach, I think.
Bottom up, okay.
I might or top down. We can do it either way. It doesn't really. I don't think it really matters in this case. But let's say like, hey, yeah, I have A, B, and F, right? So I know that this is because these aren't the same. So then this is my base case. So which means I need to do 1 deletion, 1 insertion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then what happens if I can, or, actually I just realized. Hold up, yeah. So then, this is just kind of like for us to figure out the cases, right? But I mean, you can turn it into top down as well, I think. Anyway, so let's say like we move the cursors over, right? So now let's say we're to look at A, B, and FB, right? Well, I see that these are the same. So which means that, okay, well, all I need to do is reuse the state. I don't need to do anything on this line. All I need to do is reuse this and what I was looking at before, A and
F and A.
So let's just say this is my index I and this is my index J, right?
Yep.
So if index 0, J equals 0, so then the state of I comma J will equal to like 2, 1 delete, 1 insert, right? So let's say I advance both of these, 1, 1. Well, these are the same, right? So then now I can say that, okay, my state at I plus 1, J plus 1 just involves 1 plus the state of I, J. Because or I should say just equals IJ, because I don't need to do any insertions or deletions to handle the same case, right?
Yes.
But let's say, I end up in this situation where it's, I equals 2, and J equals 1, right? Well, I can't really do that anymore because the like I said, the we're no longer running to a base case, and we are what's it called? These these letters don't align, right? So then in the case of state, I should say IJ is like 2, 1. Actually, this should be 1, 1. Will just equal that. Okay, well, I have other 2 options. I can either delete this. I gotta delete this and then do an insertion, which would be basically state 1 1 1 plus 1 insertion, or I could either do state. I could backtrack this one, right? I could do state 3 comma 0, and then plus 1, and then just take the smallest amount of those. Does that make sense?
It's the same thing of like the 2 choices you have.
Yep.
You're comparing them.
Correct. So this is the way I do the problem. It's that I'm basically comparing 2 strings at their indexes, right? And if the numbers are the same and if the letters are the same, I don't need to do anything at that point. I can just reuse the state of the 2 previous indexes. But if they're not the same, then I'm like, oh shit, well, I can't do that. So now I just need to do an insertion either in S1 or S2. Well, if I'm going to do an insertion, then I need the minimum number of cuts for A, B, and FB. Because I know that, if I do an insertion, that's one operation. I can't get smaller than that. So this is the way I would do it. This is the way I would set up the problem. Although I think I might have jumped directly to the dynamic programming one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think. I went in a different direction.
Yeah,
I went in the thing of comparing these strings, which is totally different.
I mean, to be fair, you can also do it from a top-down approach and do it as a tree, right? Because let's say you start at this index.
Yeah.
Then all you need to do is just recurse, call like a recursive function into I and then j minus 1. J minus 1, or recur versus recurse I minus 1, comma j, and then plus 1. And plus 1 to represent the one if not match, or if match, then you just end up doing recurse I, comma j minus 1. So this is basically would be your recursive function actually.
In this portion is much more like what I was trying to do.
And then this is your base case, right? So then if at I and equals to j, then this will be then return what 0 because you don't need to make any changes. Or if I does not equal j, then return 1. And this is only if you arrive at if I and j are 0. Yeah, these are base cases essentially. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm omitting some cases here, because what if you end up in like 3,0 land and shit? But you get the idea.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like for sure, definitely. You have much more intuition than me.
Yeah. But
it's something that I still need to work.
Yeah. So all I did here was really just say, okay, well, let me see what are the decisions I can do at each one of these steps, right? If I start at an index, right, and then all I do is just compare all the state of the world before this index, and then add plus 1 to represent an insertion.
Yes, I see.
So that's basically all. That's all I did here. I'm a little bit rusty on it, but like I said, once you have this intuition, it never really goes away. So let's see what you did.
No, but it's the right thing.
Okay.
It was the same thing. It was the same story of the last question. I did got like pretty close, but like I had on 30 minutes in, I was not going anywhere.
Okay.
And my answer was not running the way it should. And I went to the solution.
Okay.
I actually don't know if that was the right thing. I should spend more time for those questions.
That's fine. If you're getting nowhere after like 20, 30 minutes, you're fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna say that I'm not sure why. Where is this your naive? There was the naive approach, the one that.
Yeah, actually, that was the one.
Okay, I see. So you said calculate the greatest common subsequence between two strings. Okay, well, I don't know. That's way too vague. The naive approach, it would still be the tree. Yeah, longest common substring. I get why you did it, but to me, it's like it just seems way too convoluted. That's my problem here. It's like I get you're trying to reuse a problem that you've seen before, but to me, usually dynamic programming involves incremental changes and reusing the states. If that makes sense. Instead, you jump straight to greatest common longest subsequence.
Even though longest common substring is a dynamic programming question.
Yeah, it's like
it's not the focus of the problem. Like,
it's really not. It's like how do I describe it? It's like you're not really trying to reuse greatest longest common subsequence to solve it. But then because the thing is that here you say calculate the minimum number of insertions and deletions. Let's run with the answer for a little bit, right? Let's say this was the case. The greatest longest common subsequence between two strings, and then so now that you have that, well, the problem that you run into is, well, you need to start returning the indexes of those, right? So the longest common subsequence could be like, between 3, 4, and 9 of the first one, and then 2 and 7. If I remember the problem correctly. So let's say this is your indexes for S1 and then S2. And then,
okay.
Then what do you do? Then number of deletions on left side and right hand side?
Oh, I'm thinking here. Like, if they are common, right? Like strings that are common, it should not differs in size.
Okay,
like
okay. Let me fix. No, it's at 4, 4, 9, and 2, 7. They're 5. This is 5.
Oh yeah. Okay, but
it's just that their position is different. That's it. Because let me just lay this out. So if I can, So then position 4. Let's say E, F, G, H, I. So this would be your let's suppose that this was the longest common subsequence, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I decided to go, okay, well now I have SOD, right? Yep, there we go. And then let's say that I did this thing here. So then let's say I had a Q, Y, and then P, I, W. You get the idea.
yes, I got the idea.
So then
let me just think.
Yeah.
What I can do here.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna get a drink.
Okay, so.
Unless,
okay, so. Can I still going here?
Yeah, sure. I was gonna go get a drink because I thought you were gonna take longer, but.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna try to apply my ideas here, just to see how that goes.
All right, give me like 10 seconds. I'm gonna get a drink.
Okay. Imagine that we have length of S1, right? In this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. All right. Then that's gonna be 15 minus length of common substring, which is 4, 5. Yeah. And for the second one, 8, 9, 10, 11. Minus 5 for sure. And this is going to be a 6 and 10. Minimum number of deletions. Then let me check if that thing is right. So minimum number of deletions. What is this? Minimum number of insertions. This. Okay, then let me just validate this to see if that's right. Minimum number of insertions, right? Yeah, those things are different. Like, yeah, I think that's wrong because like the question asks for the minimum number of deletions so we can go from S1 to S2,
Yeah.
So the number of insertions is going to be 6 using my formula here. And yeah, actually we have same, we don't have same.
I would
so
say
we have to
basically run into the exact same problem all over again. Because even if you like look at the state here, right? Even if you found longest common subsequence, you still have like left side and right side to deal with.
No, but it's just on subtraction. We can just solve this problem. You see here, like you just found the longest common substring.
Sure.
All right. Now you just apply this formula, like
I see.
Of the. You see?
Okay, so it's like it's no different as if you just chopped it out.
Yeah, basically. So here we have 10 deletions with, let me see, 6 insertions.
Okay.
I guess that would work.
I mean,
But it's not the way it should be, right?
It's not even, I don't even think it works. That's the thing. It's just not obvious and not intuitive. It's just like it's just like I get this is an optimization, but then like even if you think about it, it's like the amount of time it takes for you to even perform the longest common subsequence problem is kind of like whack, you know? It's like it just adds to your to runtime, and so it's like it just can't intuitively be right.
I understand your point.
Yeah. And even then, it's just like you still end up with the exact same problem. Like, well, what happens if you don't do that? Like, let's say, like, what's the next step? Like, let's remove the longest common subsequence, right? You have the rest of this shit going on, and it's just like, well, it just comes back to the exact same problem. So, I don't know. This is not obvious to me. Anyway, yeah, so no number of deletions, number of insertions. Anyway, yeah, so I think that for a dynamic program where you're kind of like messing up is like you're not thinking like in terms of incremental states.
What am I doing then?
So if I'm looking at like how you did the previous problem, it's just like you're missing out on what you need to pass in, what you need to pass out for each one of the states. And then increment. It's like in this case, what we're incrementing is just the number of cuts, right?
Yeah.
And here, what we're doing is we're incrementing or decrementing the number of insertions and deletions.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and I'm not thinking like this.
Yeah. So
yeah,
like,
right. You're right.
Decisions, what is incremented? What is not being incremented? And it's just it's really just that. Just understand the choice and what you're giving up and what you're getting. That's the best way I can describe it to you.
I see. Yeah, actually, for the other patterns of dynamic programming, I'm using grokking dynamic programming. You know, I don't know if you know this course. Like, and there's a lot of patterns. This is actually the last one, and I'm struggling a lot. Like, but you addressed the point. I'm messing up. Yeah. Okay then. So.
Go.
I'll go in this direction as you mentioned, like to think about additions, right?
Yeah.
Like, what should I pass and what should I consider?
What states are you reusing? I think at this point I would not get too hung up on it, but I would at least keep trying to fix the mistakes. I'm looking at this with search and maze. Let's look at the search of the maze problem.
Yeah, that's a graph problem.
White represents these are two special white pixels, one designated entrance and others exit. Goal in this problem is to find a way of getting from the entrance to the exit.
Yeah, it's like do a depth first search, you know, to see if there's a path between the start and the end.
Black and white represent no maze. Interesting. Find a path if one exists. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so 12 directions from each. I would say each square if a bound matrix or blocked edge don't move forward. Yeah. Once the end position is found, return specific path. Otherwise, repeat the process. Fine. Yeah. So okay. So if you're out of this, you're out of bounds, or if you're hitting a thing, that's fine. Yeah. If 0 and length of maze.
Yeah, like that's the exit. The exit.
I0. Okay. I0 and length of maze. Okay. That's your exit condition. Cool.
Yeah. And then I should consider the options.
Do you need to return the path itself, or just if there is a path?
No, I had to return the path itself.
Okay, so I'm looking at. Oh, okay. This is a maze helper. Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
So path append maze ij, and then you delete. Why not just pop the path? Why not pop the stack? Path is stack, right? So why isn't there like a Python pop here?
Yeah, a pop works as well. Yeah.
I don't understand path ij. It's not two-dimensional.
No, yeah, I did the wrong thing. That's like this. I was trying to do this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. My is ij equals 0. I see. You're trying to block it off and okay. Okay. Delete. Oh, okay. Now I understand what you're doing. Okay, that's fine. But then you forgot your path.pop as well.
Oh, yeah. Actually, can I just pointed out one thing here?
Yeah.
I downloaded the grader of API, right? So I can run those exercises.
Sure.
Actually, I tried to do this exercise in the Python, like in the grader, just to see my answer, the percentages.
Yeah.
And but there was like in Python 3. I am working in Python 2.
Okay.
And then I rewrote the question, and yeah, that was this little detail. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you need to be really careful. Like I said, the
That's the
goal
problem.
here is to make sure that whatever we submit is perfect the first time we submit it. That's the thing. It's not, you can't just like go in these little mistakes and say, oh yeah, like I could have done that, whatever. It's like you need to be really harsh on yourself at this point. Like we're this late in the game that any of these mistakes should be like, they're dumb mistakes, but they should be super easy to correct. That's gonna be a red flag to the interviewer if you can't double check your work like that.
Okay. I have one question about this thing right now. Like, since the grader of API, like it's in Python 3, do you recommend me to like actually follow the book, right? The thing I was thinking,
you should
and
compare,
use follow the book and go and test my answers on, like, run my answers in the actual compiler of like lead code or anything else?
I mean,
do you have any
if
recommendation?
It helps, sure, but in general, I've never had to do that. All I've had to do is just compare the answer that I got to the books, and look at the delta each time. That's basically the whole exercise. Again, it's easier to help test, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah, because for the dynamic programming questions you said to me, so I can run on the grokking, and I kept with this in my mind. Where should I run this? I tried the grader. Yeah. Okay, I'll focus really hard on this delta.
Yeah, that's where you basically do the learning. And so other than that, I think your intuition for this is correct, and the step by step is fine. It's just this one little thing that tripped you up, but it's like it's a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's fine. One string into another. Okay, so this is another dynamic programming one, I think.
No, that's a graph still.
Interesting. Let's see. Transform one string into another. So then cat.
Yeah, I can explain. For example, if you receive an S and T, right, cat and dog, and you're gonna receive a dictionary. I haven't copied the prompt of the problem here. Yeah, and you're gonna receive a dictionary, right, of a bunch of words. Basically, what you need to do is that if in this dictionary you have a path between cat and dog, right, that the words differs in only one. That is the rule. Okay. So the obvious thing to do here is to create a graph in which the relation between the nodes is the difference, like in only one letter. For example, cat and dog, only one difference. You see? And then basically I try to find a path between cat and dog. If there's a path, I then should to say that exists, like I can transform one string to another doing one movement at a time. That is basically the intuition of the question.
Okay, I mean that seems to work, but it seems like it's very long, because the reason why is because in order to set up the graph, you basically need to do an n squared operation. Because you need to compare bat caught, bat dog, bat dag, bat dot, bat cat, and then caught caught dag, caught dot, caught cat. It's
to create the graph is actually all of n squared.
Yeah, that's what I said. So if that's the most optimal way, then all right. I mean, it's kind of the n squared operation is unavoidable if you're creating the graph.
Yeah, but the answer, as you mentioned, is pretty long, actually.
I'm gonna see. Okay, so let's see if we can get from where we're currently at to a little bit better and faster answer. Or unless that was the optimal answer. I'm really trying to think. Like, is there even a better answer to it? Because I think your edit distance of 1, setting up is correct. So
let me open the book again.
I'm very curious. So let's watch this organically before we jump to the book. So let's see. You have this, and then you decide to So the thing is that what was killing us is the order n squared, right? To set up this graph. So which means that we cannot set up a graph. That means that we need to somehow be able to find the. Wait, question. Are these words given to you, or are these words that you generate yourself?
No, these words are given to me in a dictionary.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, it's not obvious to me at all. What? Because in order to find a path between two of the strings, you need to yeah, you get string one, string two. They're essentially still nodes in the path, and then you need to trace through the rest of the strings as if they were incremental in order to try and get there. Wait, I mean, even if I don't set up as a graph, I'm still trying every single other string. Even if even if like the let's say I don't use a graph, right? Then all I would be doing is pretty much something pretty similar, where I just say like, okay, for every index, look at every single other element, right?
Yes.
That I haven't visited. So it would just be like a backtrack. So I'd carry around an index, a list of all the indexes I've tried, right? So if, let's say I go into like I'm somewhere around here, I'm iterating, right? And then I have DAG, right? And so I would then try to see if there's an edit distance of 1 between DAG and BAT, DAG and oh wait, can you move your cursor? It's kind of blocking me.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. So DAG and BAT, then DAG and caught, and DAG and dog, DAG dog, and then DAG cat, and then okay, so that didn't work. Or let's say that worked, right? On caught or dog, right?
Okay.
So then I would eliminate these two, and then just try again, right? Dog to bat, dog to caught, dog to dot, dog to cat. So it eliminates the graph. It actually, yeah. So this actually eliminates the graph, but you still get order n squared. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the better way to do it, because you at least eliminate the memory constraint.
Yeah, to have a graph, an extra structure.
I think the book actually does that, doesn't it?
The book uses a deck, like just in a breadth first search. I acknowledge the delta, like the difference, you know. So what you're trying to do is basically, trying out the possibilities. The same thing as you did, like, but with a breadth first search, you know. So they take.
Okay? Go ahead.
They take one word, right, and visit like the others that possible, the other possibilities that can be their neighbors. So it's like in a depth first search manner, you know. So not in a depth first search as I did.
Yeah, you did depth first search, you did breadth first search. I think the that makes sense because breadth first search is almost always used for like shortest distance, right? So in other words, you're just searching for the shortest distance between two strings. So but their setup is still the same.
No, because they are not setting up a graph.
They're not.
If you
okay,
no,
so
hold up.
How do you decide breadth first search?
I'm
very confused. That does not make sense. Let me go ahead and let me open the book because that does not make sense at all.
Yeah, hold up.
Okay, so this is gonna be what minimum distance? Transform one string.
Yeah, actually. Oh yeah, they set it up a graph actually.
Yeah, these are graph. There has to be a graph, and then the distance has to be the number.
They set up.
Yeah. So it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just they set it up and then use breadth for search. I just did it in place to see if I could reduce the memory constraint. But yeah. It will get you faster. Breadth for search will get you faster than depth for search for sure.
Yeah, they do a very fancy math here to prove that as well.
It doesn't. It's kind of intuitive. I think. I didn't think it needed to be done, but whatever. Because either way, both of them will get you to the answer. It's just a question of which one will get you to there first. But the runtime should be pretty much the same. Well, it's just like breadth for search is just pruned. So okay. Paint Boolean matrix. Okay. These are all your graph problems, right?
Yeah, like I did all of them from the one.
It doesn't seem like you ran into too much trouble with them.
No, because like all of them follow the same intuition, which is very clear in my mind.
Okay. Yeah. So then since you understand recursion pretty well, you don't need to actually do the graphs that much. I'm gonna say that pretty much you can pretty much ignore graphs actually.
No, I did all of them from the 1 month plan, so there's nothing more left to do.
Yeah. Okay, then you're fine. I would say just keep going with the 1 month plan. From what I can tell, your biggest struggle is just dynamic programming, but it doesn't seem like you're running into too many issues with the other stuff. So I'm gonna say right now, let's not do like a mock interview. Let's just keep going, because right now what we need to focus on is just making sure you really square away the DFS stuff. Does that make sense?
What DFS stuff you mentioned?
Sorry, not depth for search, but the dynamic programming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was thinking, like, are you gonna go back in the future? Or...
Yeah. What I want to do is this. It's like, it doesn't make sense for me to keep hammering you with mock interviews right now. The reason why is because we don't know when the next one is gonna be.
You're right. You're right.
And right now, to me, it's just more obvious that mistakes. There's a lot more mistakes that can easily be fixed, just simply by doing problems, and then just like comparing with the book. I get the feeling that some of these problems you just kind of between the these random mistakes that you make, and then the fact that you're kind of like not getting it from the book is just like I'm kind of feeding you the answer in intuition. I think that's more where we're at right now, at least for dynamic programming. And then if I like give you a random mock interview for like any other topic, I feel like you do okay on it. And I don't feel like there'd be like anything new I could tell you, you know? So it's just like what's the best use of our time.
Okay. And one thing, for example, if I take one question of the book that I clearly remembered how to approach and the answer, is it okay if I skip and go to like another question related to that topic?
Sure.
Just to train,
as long
because
as like,
I think there's no value. You know?
There is like you might clearly remember it, but just do a quick proof of it. Just like just do the step by step pseudocode for it, and then make sure that it like your understanding and step by step works. That's it.
And I consider all the details.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it. Okay.
I'm trying to think like what else can we do. It's kind of hard. We're in a weird situation where it's like we don't know when our next meal is. Like
Yeah, you're right.
Interview.
So yeah, I was actually this week I was thinking, and it's kind of strange to practice when you don't have like a very clear deadline, you know.
Yeah.
Because I can practice, I can follow the discipline, but it's something that I don't know. I feel like out of my place.
Yeah. You know? It's like, wait,
not in a rush.
It's like, why am I trying so hard if there's no pressure, right?
Yeah, if there's nothing on the horizon.
Yeah. And so it's like I feel like if I just kind of like it's like stack and put the stress of like the mock interviews on you at this point, then it's just like it's going to do more harm than good. We might end up burning out before we get to the actual main thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And actually, Russell, he recommended me for Google. So
nice.
Yeah.
Did you hear back from Google yet?
Not yet. He said that he sent the email, like the application, this week, the beginning of the week.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing. I haven't received nothing yet.
Okay, that's fine. Let's wait and hear back from Google, because right now, it's like, I'm trying to take it a little bit easy, but I'm trying to make sure that you don't lose the knowledge as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll let you go. Hopefully the dynamic programming feedback helped.
Oh, it helps a lot.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, for sure. Let me know how things go. And if you want to skip,
okay, man.
And let me know if you want to skip Tuesday. But I think that it'd be pretty good to still do like the mistake analysis. I think it is pretty helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, man.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.
Bye. I'll see you later.
All right, cool. Guess that's it. You don't need a graph. Insert the word into a hash table, and then take the current word and generate a new word with character diff -1 to look up in the hash table. Take the current word and generate new words with one. Yeah, you could do that, but the problem is that, you are now going to have to iterate for every single letter in the word, which could be substantially longer than the number of words that are in the that are in the list. And then also, you are doing this operation 25 times for each element. So I would argue that it probably makes it more complicated. I mean, it's not that it's just, I think that for most lists, if it's like small, you end up with a pretty bad runtime because you're basically talking about 25 to the number of letters in the word, which is not great. Like exponential and power times are not great for us. I mean, granted, it's an answer, but it's not really that great. So, is there any other questions that people have, or like any topics people want me to discuss? I mean, I kind of ended it early because I wanted to give him, like I said, I wanted to give him like I don't want to push him that hard because I don't feel like there's a lot of ground we need to cover. And there's not really motivation for him to keep pressure. Because if I just like, if I just tell him, oh yeah, you need to do this, and I put the pressure on him, he's just like, well, I don't have anything coming up on the horizon, and then he might end up like slack off a little bit, and then he might not take the feedback that seriously, which is a waste of effort on his time and my time. And I'd rather he just like progress slowly and be very careful about and be very deliberate. So I mean, we'll do a mock interview for sure later on in the future, but I'd really hope that he gets like an actual interview pretty soon. Because at this point, is like I think he's all pretty much ready. A few minor things, but other than that, I think he's pretty much there. So, going once. Yeah, I guess is there any other questions from the crowd? All right, guess there's no questions from the crowd. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully we'll be able to stream on Tuesday. And yeah, I guess he's doing pretty well, so we'll see what happens. Thank you all for joining me. Socials are in the description below. Yeah, follow me, and hopefully, if only coaching, just book me for coaching at echandtech.com. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining me.